Yeah, I'm Herb Hoelter, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of the National Center on Institutions and Alternatives. Our acronym is NCIA, which is much easier to say. Yeah, I worked with a great reformer and a great mind, a fellow named Jerry Miller, Dr. Jerry Miller, when we first started NCIA in 1977. And we had closed some prisons for juveniles in Pennsylvania and done a lot of work in reforming the juvenile justice system. And when we founded the organization, we were looking for ways to try to earn some money so that we can build a nonprofit. And we got a call unexpectedly from a doctor in early 1978 who was facing a federal tax charge and said, "Could you do an alternative sentence for me?" His lawyer called and we said, "Sure." So we put together an alternative sentence where he would help an AIDS clinic and for free for 500 hours rather than go do laundry at a federal prison, and the judge liked it. So that sprang into doing more cases like that, and then in the early 80s we got a huge break where we were asked to help represent the 6 defendants from the Church of Scientology. Mary Sue Hubbard was the wife of L. Ron Hubbard, who founded Scientology, and she and 5 of her chief officers were charged with bugging the IRS when they were going through their nonprofit status review with the IRS, and they placed officials within the Internal Revenue Service, and they got caught, and they were all facing sentencing, and they hired the best and the brightest white-collar attorneys in Washington, D.C. and New York. And we then ended up working for them and doing very well on that case. And then many of those ended up representing a lot of the financiers in the 1980s. It started with Dennis Levine, who was the first $1 million bonus baby on Wall Street. And then there was Ivan Boesky that Levine turned in. And then there was Mike Milken, whom Boesky said that he had worked with him, which he didn't. Milken was the innocent of the 3. But he ended up having to face federal charges anyway. And from that, we had just built into a nationally recognized practice in doing consultation for defense attorneys, primarily in federal court. Although we also had a branch for a long time where we did death penalty mitigation. I had a couple social workers who were into that area, so we got appointed by courts to do that. And we've brought a lot of unique aspects to the field. We now do a lot of videos for sentencing. So the judge can really look at the individual rather than just read character letters. We have a very sophisticated database of what other sentences imposed have been for other cases. So it's blossomed into a major practice in the federal sentencing field. Well, what happened was in the early 1980s, there was a foundation in New York called the Edna McConnell Clark Foundation. It was Avon money. The founder of Avon set up this foundation to do criminal justice reform. So once we started seeing that we had success in doing these alternative sentences, we went to the foundation and they gave us seed money to start other offices. And during the 1980s, I had sentencing offices in state and federal court from Florida to California. I had 15 offices with about small offices, 5-6 people in each office. But we did just thousands of cases. We had a training program to train sentencing mitigation specialists. And we went from there, and then in the late 80s, after a decade of travel, and a lot of the other organizations wanted to do other aspects of criminal justice reform. So we split them off and kept a few offices, which we still have today.